So you've dabbled with an Arduino, but now you realize it's time to level up with an ESP32. If you haven't come to this conclusion, well, the ESP is just a little bit more powerful. It's a dual-core processor, while Arduinos such as the Uno come with just a single core. The ESP32 has more GPIO pins. The ESP32 has Wi-Fi Bluetooth built right in. Yes, with an Arduino you can get shields and boards, but that just adds complexity. Now, the Arduino is simpler, and it has a much larger community for support, while the ESP32 is a bit more complex, but this will allow for more complex projects. Okay, now that you realize it doesn't matter, honestly. They're both great boards for learning embedded. Okay, let's get started. Alright, quick disclaimer. Although I really do enjoy making these tutorials, please don't just copy and paste everything I do. I encourage you to experiment and read the documentation to really learn. Alright, let's install the tools to build and flash our ESP32. Now, I did waffle on a bit trying to get my ESP32 to work with the Arduino IDE and PlatformIO with VS Code, but for some reason neither seemed to work. Anyways, I prefer to work with NeoVim and the terminal, so I ended up getting the expressive ESP-IDF tooling to work. And all the information I've used can be found here at docs.expressive.com. Alright, first thing we got to do is clone the repo, and that's going to be from the documentation. We're going to get ESP-IDF, so we want, I guess this is stable 5.4. There's probably a newer version, so we'll make sure we get this branch. We want all of this, and just paste that into our terminal and execute. Now we're doing ---- recursive because this has submodules, so it's going to download all of those submodules. Okay, that took a couple minutes for me. Hopefully it didn't take that long for you. Now once that's done, all we got to do is cd into the ESP-IDF directory. And there's a bunch of stuff in here. Feel free to look around. But what we need now is the install. This may take a minute or two also because it's installing a bunch of pip packages. It does use Python for the build. Well, CMake underneath the hood, but it uses, hey, that was pretty quick. All right, now we need to get everything we installed kind of into our shell environment. To do that, we are going to use this command here. Notice this dot here. That's just saying put it in our terminal. So we'll just do that. All right, now we're pretty much ready to go. So I'm going to make my project in my development folder here, directory. And to make a project, it's idf.py create project, and then name a project. I'm just going to call it blink because that's what we're going to end up doing here. Blinking the LED on our ESP32. And we just go ahead and go into there. Open mine up in NeoVim. As you can see, there's CMake list.txt, so it's using CMake to build. And then you notice we got our blink.c. app_main is the entry point for ESP32 to run. And before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's go ahead and set the target. We need to tell ESP-IDF what our target is. So if we do idf.py set target, okay, without any options, we'll at least get all the options it could be. For me, it's ESP32. So I'm going to run set target ESP32. That's just going to set up in our configurations that are what our target platform is. So we can look in our build and you'll see it created a whole bunch of stuff here. All right, next we should probably go ahead and build, because when we build the first time, it will build pretty much every single module that is available for you on the ESP32. But fortunately, subsequent builds will be much quicker. As you can see, there's almost 1,000 objects it's going to build right now. All right, that wasn't too bad. It was pretty quick. So if all is successful on your end, you should see something like this where it's showing you how to flash your board. Well, we haven't really done anything yet, so let's go ahead and go back into our blink.c file. I don't want that. but we will need some other imports. Some of these we won't use until we actually add our code to blink our LED, but we'll just go ahead and add them now. So we need free RTOS, all capitals there, .h, and we need free RTOS and task.h. We need a ESP_log.h. And finally, for our actual GPIO, we need driver GPIO.h. Now, once again, if you're wondering where I'm getting all this information from, it is basically here on this website. You could probably go to our first project. As you can see, that's a pink link. So it has a bunch of information, even more information, because I'm not going to use this this configuration menu. We're just going to go ahead and log out some basic hello world, basically. So we need a tag. So that's a const char pointer. I'm just going to call it tag, and I'm going to call it blink, just the name of our project. And then to log out, it's ESP_log, not LGO, log. I for information. We need our tag, and then we're going to have our message, basically. Say up, starting blink. And that should be all we need for now. So let's go ahead and try to build and flash now. So if we do idf.py build, it should be much faster this time. Yep, only 9 objects it's got to build. And done. All right, you notice to flash, we need a port. So the best way to figure out, on Linux at least, what port it is, I'm going to do ls dev for devices, tty, and star. It's going to list everything that's every device. Now what I'm going to do is take my ESP32 and plug it in. As you can see, the light came on, and now I'm going to run the same thing again. And the diff is this dev tty USB 0. And to flash that, it was idf.py-p for ports, dev tty USB 0, and then flash. Oh. Okay. Dev tty USB is not readable. Let me see. Oh, okay, yep. This is owned by root. So I can see sudo change ownership, and I'll just do who am I? That'll be me, and what I want to own. And let's see, my little password. Now, if I run lltty USB again, there we go. Now I own it. So I should be good to go ahead and flash. Awesome. As you can see, it's right into the device and done. Now, depending on your ESP32, you may actually have to hit the boot or reset button while flashing, otherwise it won't flash. Mine just allows me to write straight to it for whatever reason. And of course, we don't really see our log of what happened. So to do that, fortunately, IDF-PY offers monitor. All right. As you can see, we got our little tag blink and our message starting blink. And then nothing else happens, so we return from main. So idf.py monitor will just basically attach to our ESP32 and just get the standard or an error, all the output, and we can see it. And if you ever want to get out of this monitor, it's control right bracket. All right, nice. Let's go back into our C file and add logic to blink the onboard LED. So I'm going to define LED 2. Now, this should be the onboard LED. We'll find out. And next, I'm going to define a couple of variables here. That's uint32t, high equals 1, low equals 0. Now, that's going to be for our LED level, high, and then low. So basically on and off. Then we need a tick type _t, call it duration. We're going to blink our LED for 500 milliseconds, half a second, and then off for 500 milliseconds. To do that, it is port tick period underscore ms. So we really can't just use 500 for 500 milliseconds. We need to divide the port tick per millisecond to get the amount of time in tick periods, basically, of the processor clock. Okay, now we need to set up our GPIO pin. And that's with GPIO, reset pin, and I'll pass the LED in there. So GPIO reset pin basically just resets it to its initial state, just in case there's anything there on that GPIO. And GPIO set direction, and that's going to be our LED. And then there's a constant GPIO mode output. And all GPIO set direction really does is set the mode, and we're going to set this up for output instead of, reading from the environment or anything like that. And now finally, we can code our while loop to continually blink on and off our LED. So while true or 1, anything that's not 0, I'm going to GPIO set level at our LED, and then high. And then free RTOS, our task, we got task delay. And I'm going to pass a duration in there. And if you're wondering about any autocompletes or anything like that, unfortunately, where's C-Lang? The C-Lang LSP doesn't work. I'm on my Asahi Linux, and so it's an ARM processor, so I guess they have not implemented the C-Lang LSP for this. So I'm not getting any kind of help, if you will. So like I said, you can read the docs. So you can use the search here. I can look up V task delay. It'll take a second for whatever reason. And here we go. We got our function. So I'm going to click on this function. Click on this function so it delays a task for a given number of ticks. So it kind of shows you that that's where I got this information, basically. So, yeah. So if you ever need to know more about any functions or methods, you can look in the documentation. And then we're going to GPIO set level LED low. Basically turns it off. And then we're going to delay for another 500 milliseconds. All right, now I think we're ready to test this out. Now, let me write. So we got to rebuild. So idf.py build. Oh, yep, that's why it's sometimes helpful to have. Wow. Somewhat helpful to have an LSP sometimes. All right, let's try that again. Perfect. idf.py-p dev tty flash. All right, moment of truth. Here we go. And hopefully you can see that it is flashing every 500 milliseconds. So if you want to see anything that's going on, just maybe it didn't work, remember you can monitor. And if there's anything that went wrong, it should tell you right here. And remember, that's control right bracket to stop monitoring. Now we are ready to start taking on bigger ESP32 projects. Awesome, way to level up by doing. The code will be hosted on GitLab. Link will be in the description. And thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, and comment to defeat that algo monster.